What's in the box? What? Gen 5? Thanks, Mark. You're the best. Can't wait for CRW Monsoon Link 4 coming in soon. Thanks for making these, guys. It's gonna be sick. Danny, are you ready for some tuning on the Gen 5, buddy? I'm gonna hit you up soon. Peace. Oh yeah, what's in the box? Next to Mark Panic. Gen 5 harness. We got some Link. What? Got the Monsoon. Got the Flex Fuel. Boost. Got some pressure gauges. Thanks, Josh. Hit up CRW if you need anything, guys. Thanks, Mark. We'll get the AW, the black spare raw, ready to go. Danny, it's your turn now, buddy. Let's get this going, buddy.
On the dyno, it's all set up. The way it's set up right now is going to be the exact same way that I'm going to tune it with the Link. This is just space pulls, so we shall see what it makes on a factory ECU, factory boost levels. I also have the wideband sensor on the tailpipe just like this, just see what the stock air fuel is for the stock ECU. We'll be saving that as well. Pull number 1. Pull number 2, back to back.
Alright guys, so just a recap of the whole process. The Gen 5 3S GTE is on a 1988 Toyota Mr2. The car is pretty much, the engine is pretty much bone stock. It just has the downpipe, the Burke downpipe, and a custom 3-inch exhaust that I installed. And it's pretty much running a little homemade top mount intercooler with the fan on it, and it is a stock 15B, and it is on a stock wastegate as well, just off the spring. And the wastegate is when we had it dynoed, it's constant 10.9 psi. So all of these numbers are based on a Dynapack hub dyno that my tuner Danny from Unrivaled Tuning uses pretty much on all of his tunes. And the stock power at 10 psi on a stock 15B, we got 205 horsepower, and it peaks out around, I would say, 6,300 RPM. And the torque, I apologize, it's actually, the torque is at 205. at 6,200 RPM. And the wastegate, the stock wastegate, tend to fluctuate between 3,500 RPM. It drops a little bit and it picks it back up again. So I guess the spring is a little worn out on it. So that's just on a base stock wastegate. And as far as the horsepower goes, it peaks out at around, I would say, what, 7,200 RPM. And it peaked out at 263. So this number is on a stock ECU that's been immobilized by Doug at Wire Gap. All right, so compare the dyno. Now after the tune, torque-wise, we gain about from 205 we went to 222, which is about 18 foot-pound of torque. And as you can see here, here's the graph. The dotted line is the stock power, stock ECU. And when we install the Link ECU with the fully tuned, you pretty much from here to here, from 3,000 RPM, it's at 140. After the tune, you got 600. So just from that alone, you gain 60 foot-pound of torque at around 3,000 RPM. And I can actually feel the difference when I'm driving the car, and it just hits a lot. It's a big difference when you're going with the Link ECU. And then from there, throughout the whole graph, you just gain horsepower. Even at the peak, it's 200, 205, and you get about 222 up here at around 6,200 RPM, which is amazing. This is just based on a stock setup. We didn't do anything to the turbo or anything. We just pretty much swapped out the stock ECU, plug in the Link ECU, and you just fully tune it. So torque alone, you get anywhere from 20 up to 60 foot-pound of torque. And this is incredible. I mean, the car feels like a rocket at 3,000 RPM. And from there, it just keep on boosting. And of course, the stock wastegate is kind of like fluctuate down a little bit. It dips down a little bit. I guess the spring's not holding it or something. But we are, after this, pretty much, after this trial, that's when I'm gonna start putting on a bigger turbo, going to flex fuel, boost controller, and all that stuff. So this is just a comparison between the stock ECU and the Link ECU. And you compare horsepower wise. So the stock horsepower, it's 263. The horsepower, we didn't get that much horsepower on it, but we did gain about 4 horsepower. But then overall graph, if you look at it, you just get more horsepower. At 3,000 RPM, the stock ECU hits 80 horsepower at 3,000 RPM. With the tune, same RPM, you're at about 110. And then from there, the graph, you can see it here. It's a good big difference. And at the end, 240, 250 or so, it jumps all the way up to like around almost to 270. And then from there, it's just kind of like peaks down a little bit. So, I mean, the Link ECU, it varies from, like $1,000 for the kit, basic kit, I believe. You can contact Josh from CRW, and then Mark Panic is the one that made a plug-and-play kit. So would I get the Link ECU over the stock ECU? Of course, because you gain massive torque from the very beginning. And this is pretty much the results comparing a stock ECU to a Link ECU. And the benefit of having it done. It's going to cost more money, of course, but then again, you have more flexibility of going adding all these sensors on it as well. And Danny did put a lot of safety features on the Link Ecu on the cars. Say if your temperature is running too hot, the ECU will actually limit your RPM, so that way once the engine drops back down again, you know, and then the car acts normal again. So that's a good test that we did, comparing the difference between a Link ECU and a stock ECU. And, you know, big shout out to CRW, big shout out to Mark Panic for getting, for getting me all this stuff that I needed. And big thank you to Danny from Unrivaled Tuning here in SoCal, Southern California, for doing the tune for me. And of course, the tune, the price of the tune varies as well between different tuners. You're looking about $600 to $1,000, $1,200 for a flex fuel setup. So, I mean, this is a comparison between stock and Link ECU. So I would definitely go with the aftermarket ECU regardless. If you know daily the car or weekend warrior or even full track especially, I really recommend doing this. But if you're on a tight budget, you can run the stock ECU for now while you save up money to get the ECU. I wish, a lot of the cars nowadays have these aftermarket ECU where you can change the fuel and all that stuff. But once you're hitting the aftermarket world, it's actually a lot safer. The graph shows it as well. I mean, with a lot of the safety features that the ECU offers. So there it is. This is the comparison between the stock ECU and the Link Monsoon that's on the AW11, the Black Sparrow. So, all right, I hope this video helps you guys to make your decision on how to, if you guys decide to go aftermarket ECU or not. So now the test has been done. We tested out the part, we tested out the patch plug and play harness. I'm gonna have a pretty good plan for the AW11 now. We're gonna start throwing a lot of flex fuel on it, boost controller. We're gonna run some oil pressure sensor on there, some oil temp sensors. Just pretty much have it ready so that way I can be safe on the track and not destroy the engine. So I hope this helps, and go ahead and subscribe my channel, like my channel. If you like more of these kind of videos, just give me a thumbs up on it. Thanks, guys.